In the heart of West Africa, a young soldier rose from obscurity to become one of the most talked about leaders of his generation. This is the story of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the man who became the face of resistance, power, and controversy in modern Burkina Faso. Ibrahim Traoré was born on March 14, 1988, in the small village of Kera in western Burkina Faso. He grew up in a modest environment, surrounded by the everyday struggles of ordinary people, where poverty, insecurity, and limited opportunities shaped his early understanding of life. From a young age, he was known for discipline, focus, and a strong sense of responsibility. He completed his primary education in Bondoukoui and later moved to the city of Bobo Dioulasso for his secondary schooling, where he continued to stand out for his seriousness and determination. In 2006, Traoré gained admission to the University of Ouagadougou, now known as Université Joseph Kizerbo, where he studied geology and earned a bachelor's degree in science. Although he had an academic background, his ambitions went beyond the classroom. Motivated by a desire to serve and protect his country, he chose a military path after graduation and joined the Burkina Faso Armed Forces. He trained at the Georges Namoano Military Academy in Po, one of the country's most respected military institutions, where he developed leadership skills and built a reputation for discipline and courage. As a young officer, Traoré was deployed to regions heavily affected by Islamist insurgency. He served on the front lines, witnessing firsthand the growing insecurity, the suffering of civilians, and the frustration of soldiers fighting with limited resources. These experiences deeply influenced his worldview and strengthened his belief that Burkina Faso needed stronger, more decisive leadership. He later took part in a United Nations peacekeeping mission in Mali, which further exposed him to regional instability and the complex role of foreign involvement in African security. By his early 30s, he had risen to the rank of captain. By the year 2022, Burkina Faso was facing a severe national crisis. Terrorist attacks had increased dramatically, millions of people were displaced, and public confidence in government leadership had collapsed. Earlier that year, a military coup had already removed President Roch-Marc Christian Kabore, but the new leadership failed to restore security or stability. Dissatisfaction grew within the military ranks, and tensions reached a breaking point. On September 30th, 2022, Captain Ibrahim Traoré led a military takeover that removed Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba from power. Following days of uncertainty and negotiations, Traoré was officially sworn in on October 6th as the interim president of Burkina Faso. At just 34 years old, he became one of the youngest heads of state in the world, drawing both national and international attention. As president, Traoré presented himself as a nationalist and Pan-African leader, determined to restore Burkina Faso's sovereignty. He openly criticized foreign interference, neo-colonial influence, and what he described as the failure of traditional alliances to bring peace and development. Under his leadership, Burkina Faso shifted its foreign policy, distancing itself from former colonial partners and seeking new relationships, including closer ties with Russia. His speeches resonated strongly with many young Africans who saw him as a symbol of resistance and self-determination. However, his leadership has also been marked by controversy. Armed insurgency remains a serious challenge, and human rights organizations have raised concerns about press freedom, political repression, and civilian casualties during military operations. Supporters argue that Traoré is a patriot fighting to reclaim national dignity and security, while critics view him as a military ruler consolidating power through force. Today, Ibrahim Traoré remains one of the most polarizing figures in modern African politics. He is admired by some as a revolutionary leader and criticized by others as an authoritarian strongman. His story is still unfolding, and his legacy will ultimately be defined not by his promises or rhetoric, but by the long-term impact of his leadership on the people of Burkina Faso.